Well, welcome everyone to our first product update webinar of the year. We're very excited to have you here. This is what we'll be covering today. I'm Dee Johns, Head of Product Marketing here at ApprovalMax, and I'm joined today by Alex Kesselman, our product expert.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here once again. As you know, maybe some of you have been to our previous sessions, and that is the session where we are discussing all the new updates we've made so far during this quarter. And we have some quite exciting news for you, some quite exciting features, some quite exciting improvements. I cannot wait to show you all of those different things.
Awesome. Before we begin, a few really quick notes. So Zoom takes up a lot of bandwidth. So for the best experience, we recommend that you close any other programs that you have. Also, everybody who's registered will get a copy of this recording by the end of the week. So we want this to be a really interactive session. So please drop in any of the questions that you have in the Q&A section, and our support people on the call will answer those live. We're also going to run a really quick poll. So your input helps us shape the updates. So we'd love to hear you take part in those. We have quite a few people on the call today that are considering ApprovalMax. And if you're new, ApprovalMax is a powerful accounts payable and accounts receivable automation solution that gives you full control over your payments. It's trusted worldwide by accountants, businesses, and bookkeepers, and it strengthens financial controls, all in one of the single platforms. Now, Alex, I think I can hand over to you and we can go straight into our first update.
100%. Thank you so much. Just give me a second. I believe you should be able to see my screen right now. Yes, you can.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to start with one of the features that actually you guys promoted, you guys came up with, because as you know, and later I will show you where you can find that, we do have a special CANI board, special customer feedback board, where everyone can share their ideas. And if it's been upvoted from all of our customers, then we're taking such ideas into consideration and we're actually releasing those. Last time, we already provided some of these features for you, like a review step, like a review in Matrix. But this time we came up with quite a few additional things that might be quite helpful for your business. And the first one is an on-hold status. So what is it all about? Imagine a situation when you, let's say, raise the purchase order, you received already a bill from your supplier, but you haven't really received any of your goods just yet. So what you will be doing, you probably won't be approving such bill because you still don't know if you will receive everything that you've ordered. But at the same time, you really don't want to reject that bill because it might be a really 100% viable bill. There is no need to reject that. And you've been asking to have some kind of an on-hold status where we can kind of put those requests aside until we receive everything that we need. That's exactly what these on-hold status for. And it's already available for all of our products, for both Xero, QuickBooks Online, and Oracle NetSuite. And you can already give it a try if you're on advanced or premium plans. So how does that work? In your product, in your ApprovalMax account, you will find a couple of additional things. So first of all, from our left-hand side main menu, here underneath the name of the company, you'll find a new folder called On Hold. So everything that you've ever put on hold will be shown to you here. You can easily find what requests are there, who put those requests on hold, and why they were here. But then speaking about the request itself, how we can put them on hold and what is the procedure. So let's say I'm going to look at this purchase order here to Alex Kesselman. Maybe something is wrong with this purchase order and I still want to ask for some additional information about that. Maybe I want to have additional attachment here. Maybe I want to see what was the proposal, what was the quote from my supplier. So what I will do, here in the top right corner, you'll find this little padlock. If you'll click on this one, it will show you a pop-up window where you need to provide a comment why you're putting this request on hold. So let's say I'm waiting for a quote. Click on save. Now this request set to be on hold. You'll have a special information on the special notification here on the top side of the screen. But also if we'll take a look on the on hold folder right now, we'll see that we now have my previous sales invoice that I've put here, that I'm also missing something. I will find the purchase order here that will show me the next request that I've just added into on hold status. And all the way to the bottom of the screen into our audit trail, we will also create a new history, a new, let's say, line for what has been done, who set this request on hold, and what was the comment. That really allows us to keep those requests somewhere aside without rejecting them. So it's a great feature, and you already can give it a try within your ApprovalMax account. Any questions before we'll continue, or we should be going next?
No, Alex, we can keep going. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So the next one, it's called nudge. If you're using TikTok, and I'm doing that from my own personal experience, when I'm traveling somewhere, me and my wife, we're sharing funny dog videos to each other. And if you, let's say, if I've sent already 15 videos and my wife haven't seen them yet, I will nudge her. For those of you maybe who are a bit older, you might remember MSN Messenger, you might remember poke button in Facebook. That is exactly what is it for here in ApprovalMax. If you have a large team of approvers, some of them might be doing things on time, but some might be slacking. So having already due dates, having deadlines in ApprovalMax, having built-in reports where you can already create a report showing you who is not doing their work on time. Now we're adding additional ad hoc feature, which will allow you to nudge your users, those who are not doing their work on time. And that will also allow you to make sure that everyone is doing their work, and they will have no explanation, no excuses to say that, hey, we haven't seen any of those requests. You can actually nudge those things, nudge those users. So how does that work? One quick mention before we'll go into the demo. It is now under beta, so you won't find that in your account just yet. If you want to give it a try, speak to your customer success manager. They will be able to enable that, but very, very soon it will go to the general audience, it will go to the release, and everyone will have access to the nudge button. So let's take a look on the demo. In my requests, let's say I've got this bill from BankWest. It's already been approved by me, and it's already been like I'm waiting for Maria and for Peter to make their approval decision. Now here, right next to that it's been approved by me, you will find additional button called Nudge Approvers. If you'll click on this one, now two of these approvers will get notifications, both by email, or if they download our mobile app, they will also receive a push notification on their phone. There's a couple of things you need to know. If you have just raised the request, you won't be able to nudge people straight away. Makes perfect sense. Give people some time to see the request, to see what are the attachments, and make sure that they all understand everything, they're approving things on time. Then on the next day, you will be able to nudge person, but you won't be able to spam these people. Again, give people a break. So you will be able to nudge people every 24 hours. And that gives you, from one side, ability to know that people are doing their work, or if they're slacking, you will be able to nudge them. But at the same time, you won't be able to spam your users. Also, once you've nudged your users, just like we've seen before with on hold status, within our audit trail, you will also find a new line showing you who've been nudged at what time and who made that nudging. It is available for both approvers within the team. So it doesn't matter if I'm the requester, I would like to nudge my approvers. Also, approvers themselves or administrators of the account will be able to do so. So that is nudge.
Alex, this is great. I love this little feature. It's like a virtual tap on somebody's shoulder. Such a great little feature. And there were a lot of questions about the length of when people will be able to nudge in the time frame, and you answered them very proactively just before. Thank you.
Perfect. And as you can see, by the way, here on the slide, this guy is really excited about this feature. He's been nudging his users, making sure that they're doing their work on time. So moving forward. The next one, actually, I would like to ask our audience if there is anyone here working with ApprovalMax for NetSuite, if we have any NetSuite customers. Because if we do, I will talk about that in a bit, maybe more details. If we don't, I'll keep it quite short so we can then continue on. Let me see. All right, so while we're waiting for maybe any additional chat questions, let me know if there will be any of our NetSuite customers. Let me briefly explain you what it's all about. So the sales invoice approval workflow, those of you who are Xero users and those of you who are QuickBooks Online users, you're already familiar with these workflows because we are end-to-end approval automation for both accounts payable and account receivable. And we want this experience to be aligned across all of our products, across all of our customers. If you're going from Xero into NetSuite, or if you're just starting for ApprovalMax for NetSuite itself, you might want to have these workflows where you won't need to go into, let's say, into another platform to create those sales invoices or to approve those sales invoices. And that really creates a better user experience for all of our customers. So the way it works, within your ApprovalMax account, if I'll change my organization to NetSuite, and I'll go into my approval workflows, you will notice, especially for those of you who've been working with ApprovalMax for NetSuite for quite some time, that we released quite a few more workflows here. On accounts payable side, as you have started, would be just purchase order and vendor bill. Now we have an expense report workflow, vendor return authorization workflow, bill payment workflow. But on account receivable side, we recently added a sales order workflow and the invoice workflow. The way it works, if you are familiar already with ApprovalMax, it's all the same. So the user experience is across the board, across all of our products, is all the same. And with our sales invoices, you will be able to pull them from Oracle NetSuite. Once you create the sales invoice there, just simply put that into pending approval status, and we will automatically bring it on board, including all of your attachments. Then just build your multi-step and multi-tiered approval workflow. Maybe that will be the sales directors, maybe that will be the legal department who need to take a look on those sales orders or sales invoices. And then once it's all being approved, this decision will be sent back into NetSuite, and you will find all the required information. So from the user perspective, if I'll take a look on the request that I have here, let's say for the invoices, I received a couple of those requests already. So let's say this invoice from 3M, it will bring all the required information that you have in your sales invoice in NetSuite. So for those of us who will be making approval decisions, I will have everything in just one single screen. I can scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen, and I will find all even all the attachments. And if everything looks fine to me, I will approve this invoice, and it will be synced back to NetSuite with an approved status. But for those of you who are familiar with ApprovalMax, you know how this all works. So let's not waste our time here, and we can continue on, unless we have any questions.
No, Alex, we actually have a question from Denzel about the audit trail for the nudge feature. So that was just the one before. So is there an audit trail for the nudge feature, or would it show up in the comments or normal audit report?
It is shown on the audit trail only. So on the audit report, we are not showing any of these comments. However, as an additional note to you, maybe you haven't seen this little feature that we've added quite recently. In the settings, you can send comments into your Xero account. It is only for Xero though. And within the history in Xero, you will see what comments were made, if the GRN status has been changed, if the bill to PO matching was made, and nudge button will be also there. So you can send these notifications into Xero. And of course, they will be available for you within the audit trail for each and every request. But yeah, great
Thanks,
question,
Alex.
Denzel. The next one is also for our NetSuite customers. That is another workflow. And those of you who are on Xero and QuickBooks Online, you're already familiar with this one, but I would like to spend some time explaining why is it so important. So the approve new vendor workflow, it is an additional step, additional layer for you to keep control over who are you working with, who are your suppliers, if they're actually legit suppliers, and if we're ready to pay to them, if we're ready to pay for their bills, if we're ready to create purchase orders to these guys. So in a nutshell, rather than giving access to your team members into NetSuite, you know how sometimes complex it might be or how expensive it might be, give access to all of your users into ApprovalMax. And if they wanted to start to work with someone new, with some new suppliers, now you have a separate workflow where they first will need to create and provide some basic information about such supplier, rather than just randomly creating new suppliers and sending those into NetSuite. And then once your legal department or maybe your finance department will check all the details, they will approve it, then it will go into NetSuite. And that's when your users, your maybe procurement team or your accounts payable team will be able to work with these suppliers. The way it works is quite simple. I won't be spending too much time here. You can give access to any number of your users to create these vendors. And here, as you can see, it's very, very simple. There is not many columns that you can work with on the requester matrix because it's simply a form of what you need to provide to your vendors. And here in the middle side of the screen, again, we will have our approval stages, as many as you wish, no limitations on that. Once the workflow is confirmed, we can now click on a plus sign and it will take us to the vendor creation form, where we will need to provide whatever details needed to be provided in order for us to approve such vendor. If it's been a company or individual, what is the company name? What is the email of the contact information? What is the financial details? So whatever you have in your NetSuite, it will be all reflected here in your ApprovalMax account, including which subsidiaries it should belong to, any addresses, any currencies. Those things can be set up here, submitted for approval, and only then once approved will appear in your NetSuite account. That is a new vendor approval workflow for NetSuite.
Awesome, Alex. I've actually got a question, but there is a question from Lindsay as well. Is the vendor approval available in Xero as well?
Of course, it's actually available for both Xero, QuickBooks Online, and now it's available for NetSuite. So it's now across the board, it's all the same experience.
Brilliant. And I suppose my question was, do you have any real life examples about why this is so important?
Absolutely. Actually, just recently, a couple of months ago, I read a story about the guy who was just randomly sending bills to Meta, to Google, and if I'm not mistaken, to Apple, and they were paying those bills. So he made in about a year time around $5 or $6 million out of these companies. And they've never checked any details about these suppliers. They were like just a fake suppliers. They were just sending money up until the moment he became too greedy and he start to send even larger amount of bills. And then they started to do some internal audit controls, and they found out that they just spent a lot of money to some random guy. And that is not only for this workflow specifically, it's actually for the whole financial control piece. If you have layers of control where you first take a look on the vendor that you're going to work with, if you check the details about these suppliers, if you check in the details about who is the CEO, what is the financial information about this supplier, if everything looks fine to you, now you can start working with the supplier. But then a new problems might come in. What this bill is all about? Do we actually receive those goods? If not, maybe let's put those things on hold and wait until we actually receive them. Then we will approve such bill. And it goes more and more into additional things here, like budget checking, like all the things that you might have in your organization. It is just adding more and more layers for security, making sure that you're not overspending, making sure that you're not purchasing things that you'd never actually ordered from the suppliers you've never actually even worked with.
And that's the most important thing. We've actually just got one question on this as well. If the vendor is confirmed, is it then automatically a contact?
Correct. Yeah. So it's actually automatically creates as a supplier and as a contact. But I believe you're talking about mainly about the Xero, right? There's just different terms in terms of the GLs, but overall, yeah, it creates as a contact and it creates as a supplier.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex.
Sure. Moving on. The next one, you might be a bit surprised because you probably heard of ApprovalMax Capture for already quite some time. It's been around for almost a year now, but now we've made some improvements. And first of these improvements would be, well, actually, that will be the main one we'll be talking about today. That will be that now you will be able to capture purchase orders as well. Previously, it was just bills. Now you will be also able to capture POs. And you might be asking, why is it important? Why would we need to capture the PO? Let's say if you're already working with the vendor, if you're already receiving some purchase orders, if you're receiving some POs, they might be sending quotes to you, and you would like to automate that process as much as possible. So just provide them with the mailbox that we are giving you with ApprovalMax Capture. They will be able to send these quotes over to that mailbox. It will be automatically extracted, and you can create a purchase order out of it. So it makes it just much, much easier to handle all of these processes, both on the purchase order side and the bill side. And as a side note, Capture now is also available for the sales invoices. So if any of you working with the sales invoices, procurement teams, or sales teams, you can also capture the sales invoices with ApprovalMax Capture as well. It is only for Xero, at least for now, just to mention. So the purchase order capturing only available for Xero, but later it will be available for other GLs as well, of course. The way it works, let's again change that to our Xero company. Like if you already tried ApprovalMax Capture, you probably know different ways how we can deal with that. You can either just click on the new request here on the top right corner, and let's say in our case, it's going to be the purchase order for the demo company UK. And here you will find a bulk upload option. So you can just take a number of your purchase orders, upload them here as one document per file, as one document per page. If you don't want to extract line items, you can easily do that, and it will be all extracted and then later sent for approval. That is one way. The second way, you can just simply click on the plus sign here from our left-hand side main menu, which will take it directly to the purchase order creation form. And again, here on the left-hand side, with the file preview enabled, you will find ApprovalMax Capture, where you can again just upload your PO, it will extract the data and push it forward for approval. And the third option, especially if you're going to work with these suppliers and you would like to receive these purchase orders and automatically extract them, just simply go to your purchase order workflow. And here on the bottom of the screen, you will find receive by email option. You have an email address already created for you here, but in case you want to change that, you can just click on the setup. And here you can just say, let's say it's going to be procurement at mail.approvalmax.com. And you can select where you would like these requests to be sent to, either into draft or onto review or on approval straight away. So that is ApprovalMax Capture for purchase orders.
Lovely. Thanks, Alex.
Perfect. Moving forward. Track goods received note status. That is a very, very small improvement that we've made, but it's actually a very important one. If you've been, like, you might have catched some of these, why would it matter so much, but I will explain in a second. So previously, what we've seen with ApprovalMax, if you'll open your purchase orders, you would have a good received notes here where you can simply update the status. Let's say it's being partially received. You can provide a comment. Well, we received 50% of it. And it will only show you the data here on the request itself. Well, of course, you will find it in the audit trail. You can also find it within these additional folders within your purchase orders. But the main use case, when you receive the bill for approval, you would want to know if we actually received those goods. Previously, that wouldn't be possible unless you would go from the bill into the purchase order, and then you will take a step back. You will be wasting a lot of your time. And you just want to see everything within one screen, making sure that everything is fine. So let's say I've got my bill on approval somewhere here. So bill from Bank West. I would like to approve it. But before approving that, I would like to know what is the GRN status for that. So if I'll click on bill to PO matching, it will show me the available purchase orders to the same supplier. And now I will have a GRN status here, fully received. Okay, I'm happy to approve such bill then. Click on save, approve it, push it forward. Just give me much more flexibility in terms of understanding what is going on within my account. And it just saves a lot of time.
Awesome. Alex, what if we're not ready to approve it yet?
What do you mean? So my bill here is not yet approved. So therefore, it's actually the main implication of the whole feature. If I receive the bill for approval, well, it's actually approved for me here. Just let me actually revoke my decision. So it will look just as you would see it in your own screen. I received a new bill from Bank West. I want to know what this bill is all about. If I received those goods that I've ordered. For some reason, I'm ordering golf balls from the Bank West, but no matter. So I would like to see if I actually had a purchase order to that. I will open bill to PO matching. I will take a look if I have a PO. I will see what's the GRN status. It's been fully received. Fine. Now I can click on approve and it will go further.
Brilliant. And what if we don't want to match it at the moment? Can we use the on hold feature not to match it at the moment?
Absolutely, yeah. On hold feature is a separate thing. So GRN and maybe bill-to-PO matching, that is a separate function that you have in ApprovalMax. Some of our customers, they don't use bill-to-PO matching at all, and that's totally fine. If you're using bill-to-PO matching, you will also have a hold button. You might have actually different scenarios why you might want to use the hold button. Let's say you're missing an
Yeah.
attachment. So you'll put a request on hold asking, hey, we need an invoice. I'm not going to approve a bill without the original invoice from my supplier. So you'll put that on hold. Another scenario would be that you're doing bill-to-PO matching, but you see the GRN status is not received. You will put this request on hold. So whatever scenario might be, you can select any request and set them to be on hold and see what's the GRN status if you're using GRN.
Lovely. Thanks, Alex.
Perfect. So let's continue on. And the next one, it is for those of our customers who are using ApprovalMax Pay. We do have quite a few people in the audience who are coming from different countries: South Africa, Singapore, Philippines, Canada, Ireland. For you, it probably won't be relevant, so I won't be spending that too much time. But for those customers who are in the UK and for those of our customers who are planning on using ApprovalMax Pay or already using ApprovalMax Pay, this feature, this improvement, this update was something that's been requested quite a few times because people want to make scheduled payments. We received the bill, we created a batch out of it, but we would like to pay maybe on our next pay run on the end of the next week. Previously, that wasn't possible, but now finally we've provided this new update for you guys, for our ApprovalMax Pay customers. And the way it works, it's very, very simple. Okay. So from my account, let's say I've got a bill already, maybe something already approved. Now we'll click on Pay with ApprovalMax. I will select which bank account I would like to use. I'll provide the details about how much money I'm going to pay. Let's say I'm going to pay £5 here. I will submit it for approval. Once we'll go through the basic stuff of creating the batch payment, approving this batch, making sure that all the details are correct, it will go to the final stage where we're actually making or executing our payments. So previously, if you're familiar with ApprovalMax Pay, once you click on that, once you click on pay your amount, it will just simply take you directly to your internet bank. Now you can click on the schedule payment. Let's say I'm going to pay this bill on the end of March, on 28th of March. Click on create. And now it will take me to my internet bank where I will just need to confirm my transaction. As you can see, I already have the details. What was the requested execution date? It's 28th of March. How much money I'm going to pay? I'm just confirming that transaction. And now I won't need to think about it again. It will be all automatically executed once the time comes. So that is the scheduled payments. The next one, I will actually continue here straight away because they are all related. The next one is called overdraft payments, also for our ApprovalMax Pay customers. For those of you who has overdraft enabled in your bank accounts, sometimes you might have some critical bills that you need to pay now, even though you might not have funds. So previously, the way it all worked with ApprovalMax, you couldn't proceed if you don't have any funds on your account. There was just a little blocker. Now we're adding this little improvement, a little setting that now if you have overdraft account in your bank, you will be able to proceed and you will be able to execute that payment. And the only thing you'll need to do with that, within your ApprovalMax account, we will go into the workflows, we will go into the batch payment workflow, and we'll go into the settings. So now here on the bottom of the screen, you will find a new setting called the balance control. Previously, that was only one option, do not allow sending payments when the funds are insufficient, but now we can allow sending these payments. That will only work, actually, both scheduled payments and overdraft payments, if your bank supports that. Some banks, unfortunately, do not support scheduled payments. We cannot do anything about it. Some banks do not support overdraft accounts. We cannot do anything about it. But if your bank supports scheduled payments, if your bank supports overdraft, you will be able to use this update. All right. Do we have any questions, or should we continue further?
Well, perfect timing, Alex. We actually have a question from Matthew. Currently, and it's not to do with the ApprovalMax Pay, but currently, if there are any issues with a bill and it gets rejected, is the on hold feature a way of doing the same thing, giving the submitting person time to rectify an error?
In a way, yes. So rejecting, I think it's more like a very aggressive action. Especially, let's say if we are raising the bill, or if we're raising purchase order from ApprovalMax, if we're rejecting that PO, it will go back to the requester with the status rejected. So they can, of course, edit that and resubmit it for approval. And it kind of feels a bit more aggressive towards the person who's raising that PO. But that's fine. So on hold and rejecting in that case would be quite the same thing. But imagine now that you received the bill that was sent maybe from Xero itself, that we've pulled from Xero, or we've pulled whatever from maybe from NetSuite. You will reject that bill and it will go back into Xero, into draft section. So someone will need to go there, change things in Xero, submit it for approval once again. You will lose a lot of time. With on hold feature, you won't need to reject it and having that game of ping pong between different systems. It will be all within ApprovalMax. It will be all just waiting for someone to fix the request, making sure that everything is fine, that we are ready to approve such bill or such purchase order. That will be the main difference here, I'd say.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex. And a few of our customers have actually asked, are all of these changes applicable to standard subscriptions or some to only advanced and premium?
Majority of them actually would be advanced and premium features. Overdraft payments, it is a part of the ApprovalMax Pay, so it's an add-on. So you will find that in your workflow if you're using ApprovalMax Pay, of course. Capturing for PO, again, it's part of the add-on of ApprovalMax Capture, so it will be a part of the whole package. You won't need to think about it again. But let's say nudge button and on hold status, that will be a part of advanced and premium plans.
Awesome.
And
Thanks,
good received
Alex.
notes, of course. Yeah, sorry. Good received notes, of course, it's also part of the advanced and premium plan. Therefore, this improvement will only be reflected for our advanced and premium plan customers.
Lovely. Thank you.
Perfect. Let's continue on. And this one is a very important one. Some of you might already know about it because you probably have seen, and we had bill duplication detection for quite some time already. And this is a very important feature available for both our Xero and QuickBooks Online customers. If you created a bill, or if you, let's say, received the bill from a third-party solution, maybe you received it from Xero, or maybe you received it from Dext, you might want to know if we actually approved something like that previously. You might want to have this additional layer of control that we won't be paying to that supplier twice for the same bill. And we had it for already maybe a year or two, this bill duplication detection. But now we've added additional parameter that will really magnify alerts from our side, just showing you what are the bills in the system, if there's any duplicates, just really showing you additional information. And that will be the reference number on the bill or on your purchase order, on your bill, sorry, that's the bill duplication. So we will show that to you based on the reference number, including the invoice number, supplier, date, and amount, something that we had before. So this is just a small improvement, but it actually gives a lot of sense. And the way it will look like, oh, sorry. I pressed the wrong button. Happens. All right, so the way it will look like from the workflow itself, let's say I'm going to use a bill. I've got here one bill, test 001. So my reference number here is test 001, of course. What I will do right now, I'll just simply copy that, but we can imagine that it might be coming from a third-party tool. What matters here, if I'll use the same reference number and I'll click on submit for approval, I will receive a warning showing me that I have at least one request with the same reference number, maybe the same amount and additional things. So it is up to me right now to decide if I would like to submit that or if I'd like to cancel such request. Moreover, on all of these bills with the duplicates, with the warning on the duplicates, you will find these additional notifications on top of your request, showing you where is that duplicate bill. You can click on that and it will show you the actual example. So it's just another small improvement in your financial control piece. Moving forward, our zero customers. A lot of you, and I've heard that from personal meetings, were asking about the credit note things. We had credit note workflow from the beginning of time for both accounts payable and account receivable sides, but there was one limitation that kind of misses the point of using this workflow. And that was that you had no chance to create these credit notes from ApprovalMax previously. You could only pull them from Xero itself. We wanted to change that. We wanted to make sure that your experience with ApprovalMax is seamless as possible. And now it is here. It is now available for all of our Xero customers. How would it work? From your workflow, but it doesn't matter if it's on the AP side or AR side. If you'll take a look inside, you now have this additional table called Create in ApprovalMax. You can add any number of your requesters, and they will be able to create these credit notes. But I think the main example here, the main use case would be, let's say I received a bill from my supplier. Maybe I've got this bill from 7-Eleven, or maybe this bill from Bank West, and I would like to ask for a refund. So I can just click on Bill Action, copy to, and now you'll find additional option here, create a note for AP. Same actually goes for account receivable side. If you already have a sales invoice, you can generate a credit note for that sales invoice. Provide whatever details needed, and it will already include information about the invoice that you've approved previously. Submit it for approval, and now it will go through the approval cycle that you built, and it will be sent into Xero. So now we have all-in-one platform for all of your actions, starting from creating your POs, approving your bills, matching them against the POs, receiving the goods with GRN status. And if you need to ask for a refund, you will be able to also create a credit note out of your bills. So that's the AP and AR credit note creation.
Alex, we've got a question about credit notes. What about credit notes on QuickBooks?
Not yet there, unfortunately. It might change in the future. So we just actually recently added a few more workflows for account receivable side. That will be the sales order and sales invoice, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe that was just sales invoice. But of course, since our strategy would be to align all of our products to the same user experience, that will be probably our next step, where we will be adding credit notes for QuickBooks Online as well. So don't worry, it's just a matter of time. Once it will be there, we'll be more than happy to share these news with you.
And also we have another question from Lindsay. Can credit notes be allocated to the relevant purchase orders as bills?
In a way. So you can actually attach a purchase order, just like an additional attachment. When you, let's say, creating a credit note out of your bill, you will have already an attachment there where that will be your bill. But then you can also add an attachment of the purchase order and just mention that there is no real like a bill to purchase order to credit note matching, if you're asking that. But you always can just attach a purchase order to the request itself, submit it for approval, and it will be available for your approvers and later in your Xero account.
And we have another question. Is creating credit notes in ApprovalMax live right now? And which package is it in? Standard, advanced, or premium?
Credit note workflows were always in the standard packages, and we're not going to change that. So you will have access to your credit note workflows, and creation of these credit notes is just the basic improvement, just giving you a bit more flexibility. So it should be available for you already now. If it is not yet available, we are planning on releasing that to the general audience within a couple of weeks, but it should be already available for you. If not, just ask your customer success manager and they will be able to enable that beta for you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for these great questions, actually. Let's move forward. And the next one, I think personally, it's one of the most interesting updates. And it's been asked by a lot of our customers, especially by the larger customers, because that's just give a lot of flexibility in creating these complex workflows. So what are these group of accounts? It is just the beginning, and it's actually coming soon. You won't find that in your account just yet, wait for a little bit. Very, very soon it will be available for our customers. And this feature allows you to create groups, well, as the name speaks for itself, groups of accounts, so you can apply these groups to different users. As an example, let's say we do have multiple departments and we do have multiple users within these departments. So sales department will be only working with the account codes that belongs to the sales department. Marketing team will be probably using account codes like advertising and marketing, maybe subscriptions, maybe international travels. So we can take all of these different accounts, group them into one, and just apply that to these users. And that really, first of all, creates a very easy looking user interface where you won't need to add 10 or 100 chart of account codes to the one single person, then just copy that across all of your user base. You can just apply one value, which will already include a bunch of these account codes. But another great example, if you've changed your account codes, if you've added a new account code and you would like to apply that to your departments, to these users, you won't need to go into your workflow and change those things manually for each and every user. You can just change that within the group of accounts and it will be all applied automatically. So let me actually show you the way it will look like. You will see how great this feature is. So from our product, if we'll go into the approval workflows, I will be going into my bill workflow, but it doesn't matter. It all works across the board. Here you'll find a new icon once this feature will be available. It's called the group of values. Currently, it's only available for account codes. Later, we'll be expanding that for other things as well, but it's already a great improvement of how easily you can now work with your ApprovalMax account. As you can see, I do have one group already. It's called the marketing department. I have 7 account codes applied to that: advertising and marketing, consulting, entertainment, insurance, staff training, subscriptions, and travel international. But in case I would like to add a new group, let's just click on add new group. Let's create a name. Let's say it will be a sales department. And here I just simply select which account code should be applied to that group. Maybe purchases, maybe cost of goods sold, maybe, I don't know, consulting. And let's say we're going to add entertainment. Let's say our sales team needs to have some entertainment in the day-to-day life. I will apply that to the selected values, click on save, and I can provide a comment in case I want to, but let's just confirm my choice. So now I have 2 groups, sales and marketing department. So what I will do right now, in my workflow, I will go into the approval workflow, and here on my column account code, rather than selecting all of these different account codes like that, and then just copying that across, I can now select sales department, and it will already include all of these different account codes. So it makes it just easier for you to see what is going on here. Let's say John, he's on our marketing team. I would like him to be able to create bills or purchase orders with all of these 7 account codes that I have in this group. So I will just apply that to John. Now I won't need to think about it again, ever again. If later I want to add another account code to my marketing team, I will be just doing that in a group of accounts, and then it will be applied to everyone from our team here. So it makes it so much easier to work with ApprovalMax, and it saves so much time.
I really like this. This is such an exciting feature, Alex. I really love this little feature. And I suppose also, account codes change all the time. So for our users, it would save them a lot of time. So having them in groups, that means they don't have to go back in. If one code changes, it will be changed everywhere for them.
Correct. It's just a great user experience of not clicking 10,000 times on adding all of these different account codes across all of your users. Imagine if you have maybe 10 companies, 10 departments, 10 users in each department. We're looking at the scalability, and it's just simply not there when you just have to click over and over and over again, while you can just create one group and apply that across the board.
It's lovely. Yes, it's such an exciting feature. And as Alex said, this is coming soon, probably in about a month and a half. So please watch out for that when it comes. It's very exciting. Alex, I think we've got our poll next, but just before we go to the poll, we're joined here by our VP of product, Ben Martin. And Ben put a little message in the chat for you, which I'm now just going to cut and paste over. And what Ben would like to know is that he's very interested to see any requests on employee expenses. So the team are starting to do their discovery very soon, likely in Q2. And if anybody would like to connect with Ben, I'm just going to cut and paste that message in so everybody can see it again.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank Ben for joining, and we would love to hear your feedback. And actually, our next poll is just about that, pretty much because we want to gather some feedback from you guys. We want to understand what features are the most exciting to you, what features you might find most helpful, and that will allow us to understand what is it something you're looking for, what we should be looking for ourselves, and provide you with the best possible value for your businesses.
Awesome. I'm just going to I'm going to start that poll. So just give me a moment. Okay. So you should be able now to start voting on these features. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes. Oh, Alex, straight out of the gate, 75% on nudge.
Yeah. Seems like everyone liked the poke button.
Yes, the little virtual tap on the shoulder. It's really
Yeah.
great. We've also got, 40 on hold, the status on hold, 49, 50%.
Well, I'm not
Bill,
surprised because I'm not surprised because both of these features are actually being upvoted by our customers. So I believe a lot of people in the audience right now, they've actually upvoted that in our canny. So they're happy to see those features came live.
Yes, absolutely. Group of accounts is coming in at 43 at the moment, and bill duplication. So there's a lot of interest in those
Perfect.
as well. So I'll just give it a couple of more minutes and then we'll be able to share the results with everybody. I can see that people are still voting on these features. What great announcements. All right, so let me just press the end poll and I will share the results with everybody. So hopefully you can see them. Nudge, 82%, and I'm just looking down the list, 55% for on hold, and then group of accounts, 41%. So they're our top 3, 4.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm actually not surprised. I was hoping to receive such results. So yeah, I cannot wait for you guys to give it a try, give us some feedback, let us know what you think. And yeah, we are here to provide the best possible value.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Now, that brings us to the end of our session.